Hello, what's up guys? Welcome to IT Security Labs and thank you for joining me tonight. If this is your first time on this channel, every Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, we do attack a machine from Vulnhub and then we try to detect that traffic using Security Onion. And the idea here is we need to learn how to be better defenders and also attackers. So as we attack machines, we need to know what the traffic looks like. How does it look like from the blue team side or the good guys side? So that's why we have Security Onion intrusion detection, so that we can actually detect things as we attack them. Then we learn how to be better ethical hackers by grabbing a machine, usually from Vulnhub. Then we try to get better at that. So thank you for joining us. I see BT and Matthew. It's good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. Give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, today I added Splunk and I'm actually getting some data in my Splunk environment. This traffic is mirrored both to Security Onion and Splunk. And as I was testing it out, it's not indexing things the way I want. It's not creating all my fields, but I do see that Splunk is ingesting data from our lab. So that is good. And I will show you here some of these events and how I was able to generate them in Splunk, but also our main intrusion detection system, Security Onion. So thank you for being here. Otherwise, I chose this machine, Clover. That wasn't my first choice actually. I wanted to go with Prime 2 or Drifting Blue or ADMX. These machines didn't work for me today. I don't know why they were not working DHCP, especially these two. So I'll try these ones in the next 2 weeks, especially Prime 2 and ADMX. These are really good machines. But Clover works. It's also a newer machine from March 28th. And it's a really fun machine. All right, so without wasting time, if you are new, just go ahead and download this, put it in VirtualBox, mirror your traffic to Security Onion, and you get the lab that we have here. And once you start the machine, you'll see that it's in a Debian box, of course, and then we can begin the attack. So I'm starting here in my Kali Linux with an nmap -sv -sc. Let's do all ports. 38. According to my DHCP server, this is on 51, I believe. So let's just run a quick nmap scan here for all ports to see what is running on this system. And as you already know by now, nmap gets detected because it's just nmap. So if we look in our Security Onion here, you'll notice that nmap will be detected. Let me just do this so I can see everything. Most of these here are nmap scans, including when you scan port 80, you actually get caught with the user agent of nmap, which is set up. So that is going to be caught as we do our scan right here. Yes, BT says Splunk is really cool. I'm really excited to be working with Splunk. I was looking for a Suricata app for Splunk. Doesn't seem like it works anymore. It used to work in an older version of Splunk, but not anymore. So I don't know what happened there. Let me verify my IP address. You see, this is why I like to start by pinging. $51 is bringing something back, but I think it's 52. So let's run our nmap on the right IP here. Now we should get some results. So if we go to our Security Onion, we should see that host showing up here from my earlier scans. So let's do this. Let's look at some alerts. And I'm running nmap in the background. So we don't waste time, we might as well look at what we have here. All right. So you see Suricata is picking up a lot of scans here. Some of these are from my time earlier. My Kali Linux is 192.168.38.10, and this is the machine. You see that it was attacked a lot. And I'm just going to show you what we did here. If we wanted to find Nmap when it's browsing, when it's going for port 80, we can go to our Discover. And we can do the same in Splunk. Let's see. Let's see if we have an agent. I was going to look for an HTTP user agent, but it doesn't look like I have done that one yet. So if it runs in the background for a little bit, you should be able to see an HTTP user agent. But for now, let's see, what do we have here? This is Zik connection log. This is just a connection, but it's going to our actual victim machine. It should be coming from Kali Linux, which is good. So we know traffic is flowing. Let's go and check to see if our nmap is complete. All right, so we ran nmap -sv find service version using default scripts on all ports on our victim machine 192.168.38.52. We see that we have FTP open, so let's check it out. We start with testing just anonymous. Looks like we're in. So FTP anonymous, simple check, and we're in. So I can cd into that. Oh, I see that I do have some files here, so let's find those. You don't have to do them one at a time. You can actually just get these files all at once if you wanted. You could have downloaded the whole directory. So let's do get. This will download them in my working directory on Kali. So if I do an ls, here are the files. Test, it just says okay. That's not helpful. We are under test. Please delete FTP anonymous login. Okay. Okay, so this was the other one. And what is this? I don't know what this is, but I would just keep in mind just that we found something that we don't know what it is. All right, so that was our first service that we found here. Let's close that. Through our nmap scan, we found port 21. Anonymous is logged in, and it actually shows us here that you can connect. So we didn't find anything interesting there, but we do have FTP, so we can keep that one in mind. Let's go to 22 is always a dead end in this case. 80, it does have robots.txt, and we have /admin, webmaster. These ones are in the robots.txt. So we can start GoBuster, DireBuster, whatever directory busting software you like, on port 80. Well, let's see if I can bring out our Go Buster. And with my Go Buster, I like to start with the directory list first. 192.168.38.52. So Go Buster is going to brute force some directories and let us know what's there. And while it's running, I like to multitask. Let's go here, 38.52 slash robots.txt. We should see the same entries that we were shown there with a /admin. Which doesn't give me much, /root. That one doesn't look promising at all. Webmaster. You can run curl commands here. So whatever is in the robots.txt doesn't help me much. Status says ping pong. Status-admin. Stop hack our website. Okay. Maybe we don't have much going on here. Yeah. So let's go check. All right. Cancelled Wi-Fi connection. Really? All right. Let me run Go Buster again. This time I'll specify some extensions and -- wildcard. So it's still the same command, same word list. We just have some extensions here, and we're doing a -- wildcard. Let's see if that will go somewhere. All right, let's see. Index.html. I think we saw this one, didn't we? That was the main one. Well, this one just says okay. Is there anything in the source? So as you can see, there's a lot of enumeration to be done. You need to just have sort of like a workflow. Status is not going to give me much. I think that's the same status that we looked at a minute ago. So you just need to have a workflow and move quickly as well, because you might waste a lot of time. Yeah, status we saw, that was the ping pong thing. JavaScript, let's check the website. He said, the other one gave me a hint. He said check our website earlier. So let's check the actual website. All right, there is the website. So when I get to a website, I'm usually looking for a login page, contact, to see if I can see people. We won't spam you. What happens if I put test? Doesn't look like it works. Yeah, so I look for any interesting information, like users. I see the CEO is here, CTO, CPO. So I do have some users here, whether they can be useful or not. Then I go all the way at the bottom here. Sometimes you see people's email addresses powered by whatever. This website is pretty much useless to us. After spending some time on it, you won't see anything of interest here. But you should always get in the habit of checking it to make sure that you can see things. If you can. Hi, William. It's good to see you, bro. All right. Last thing before I leave the website is I always check the source, see if there are any comments, interesting things, especially with capture the flags. There's always something sometimes on the actual website. So let's see, can I view page source? Where was I? You can always view the source for the selected section, but I wanted the whole thing. Let's see. Okay, I'll leave this one for now. Let's go and check if there's anything interesting. Come back to the website. Robots.txt we already saw. Let's go to phpMyAdmin. That is always exciting. phpMyAdmin is a web user interface for a database access. So that is always interesting. When you see phpMyAdmin, you know that there's a database. You might actually break into that if you can. Oh, I see why. Let's actually get to the actual website without the... There we go. Now I can see the page source for the website. And it's also loaded phpMyAdmin. So what you want to do is maybe try default credentials for if there was any services that you found phpMyAdmin to try to get in. But I'll look at the page source first. Just scrolling around here, you will see things like this. That's a comment. We are under construction, CMS Code Fusion. So now it tells you that it's a Code Fusion site, CMS. This is what I do. Is there any known Code Fusion exploits? So we need to enumerate Code Fusion. I've seen Code Fusion on another machine once, and I do know that there is a word list for Code Fusion. So if you see a Code Fusion site, what you want to do is you want to also run GoBuster with the Code Fusion word list, and I'll show you. There is a lot of was it this one? Maybe not. All right, the idea is you need to look it up, but let's go ahead, stop that one. I'm locating a Code Fusion word list. I think it's .txt. I know it's in one of, yeah, there we go. So we do have a word list for brute forcing. I have duplicates, of course. It's in web content, it's in the bounds, and it's in the sec list. The one that I remember is the one in sec list. So when you see Code Fusion, do a GoBuster with this word list here. And everything should be the same. So let's do that. Remove. Oh, come on. All right, give me 1 second. My copy paste is out of. Let me try it again. I'm going to put, do I put 50 threads here? To make my GoBuster faster, I can put 50 threads, but let me put 30 so that just in case. Right, so this is the word list that I was talking about, and I'm looking for those extensions. I'm putting the dash wildcard because I keep getting that error that I saw earlier. And as you can see right away, it found whatever this is. This is because I used a special word list by finding that in the comments here, that we have code fusion, so we run a special word list. A lot of people skip this part and they will not find this new directory that I just found here. So now we see that we're making some progress. So I see administrator. If I click here, see something just like an image. Let's do it again. Seems to work. View the page source. Okay, here's my page source, and just looking in here, let's see if I see anything interesting again. I'm looking for these. There's a way to run a curl command and just list all the comments only. That's probably better. But this one says, please disable /login.php. This page doesn't exist. Disable test login form. Well, did they actually disable that? Let's see. Oh, looks like they didn't disable it, even though it's mentioned in the comments. So always checking the page source is going to give you some idea. My next phrase is, as I try to get better at this stuff, I'm going to see if I can have a curl command that I can just run to get page source and only display the comments. It should be a simple grep or awk command that just gives me anything that starts with maybe this little section here for a comment. Give me every line from the curl command that does that. That should be a simple one, so I don't have to look through all this like that. That's it when you're trying to be efficient. So we do have a login page, as you can see. It wants a username and password. So now we can work on this user page here. I already tried a SQL injection, admin and or. See that? I also did a SQL injection on this PHP admin, even though it didn't work. If you try the SQL injection, you see that it says logged in. That means that we are in. If you're curious how I did that, I just went through my payloads here. You can send this through Burp Suite, or you can test them manually. I'm pretty sure. Let's try this one. Doesn't matter, but you can try SQL injection manually and see if it works or not. Let's try that one. That one doesn't work. So the only one that worked for me was the admin equals to or 111, and that's for username and password. Just testing to see if it's vulnerable to SQL injection. And it let me in. So I know this form is vulnerable to SQL injection by manually testing, checking it out like that. Another way is you can intercept the request for this page using Burp Suite and paste the payloads. My payload list here. I'm pretty sure there's more. Let me share with you what there's a better SQL payload, SQL injection payload than the one that I have here. I had one. If you have any favorite SQL injection payloads, cheat sheets, please share with everybody. I'm curious what people use. But for me, I try these in Burp and they work. Or then we can also use SQL map, which is not allowed in the OSCP. I was just doing some research, but manually testing would show us that it's actually working. So let's go back here. So since this form is vulnerable to SQL injection, I'll be honest with you, I tried a lot of things here. I spend way too much time with this form than I like to admit. Yeah, that one doesn't work. Once I verified that this thing is vulnerable to SQL injection, I tried blind SQL injection. This turns out to be a time-based SQL injection, and I don't know how to manually do that yet. I need to get good at that. But I called my friend SQL map, which is not allowed in the OSCP. So I'm hoping in the OSCP they don't give me a time-based SQL injection. So SQL map is what you use for SQL injection. This is from certified ethical hacking stuff. So you can test here for SQL injection by having a file name, and then you can search for databases. Then after you get databases, you can dump the users. Dump the database, then dump the users using SQL map. Simple stuff, and I'll show you how to do it with SQL map. But know that we have to do it manually. This just happens to be a time-based. So what we need is a file. The request needs to be saved in a file, then we send it to SQL map, and that is a simple process. So first, launch your burp. Let's do an interception on. I'm using the newer version of burp, so this one comes with its own browser. So I'm launching the browser right now. It's going to be a Firefox. Joseph, you didn't miss a lot. We just found that this page here is vulnerable to SQL injection. We're about to fire up SQL map, grab some database, grab the database, grab the users and their hash, so we can get into the machine. So this is right on time. Why is my browser not loading? It's probably just taking a little bit. Let's give it a second. Right, but while my browser is loading, let's go and check. We already did some manual SQL injections here. So we should be able to see Surikata complaining about SQL injections already, because everything is in plain text. It's just HTTP request. So let's see. Should be changing that time to a shorter time period. That will make things even faster. Let's do last 1 hour. All right, so here's a bunch of nmap that was caught. Let's see, here is suspicious nmap which is scanning for SQL. All right, Surikata is picking a lot of nmap scans here. Oh, here is my SQL that I was showing you, the one that I just did. So let's see what this one, the SQL. So if you manually run the SQL injection test, any decent intrusion detection system out of the box will pick you up. So let's see what it looks like. This is how SQL injection test gets detected by Surikata. So the file is the surikata if.json, I think. Yeah, that's the one. Here's the message that Surikata outputs out there. I just wanted to see for myself. All right, so this was a test that I did earlier when I was just manually trying. Of course, this is not the one that worked, but it's going to our actual directory, as you can see here. So that's one. Let's check the other one. All right, this is another one too. A post that we had made. This one didn't succeed, but it was made. That's why Surikata picked it up. All right, so if you haven't seen a log in an intrusion detection system talking about SQL injection, this is a post request that we did. Let's actually generate more right now. So first we go in our browser. Let's sign in. Let's go to the same place. I'll first do my interception off. This is the Google Chrome that comes with burp. Let's capture a file that we can use with SQL map so we can attack. So we'll do an admin test. Before I submit that, interception on. No, let's forward those. Let's request. Now let's submit this one. This is our request that we would like to use. The parameters that we're injecting are uname and passwd. So I put admin and test. Of course, they're incorrect, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. SQL map will take care of everything for us. That's why it's not allowed in the OSCP. So I'll just save that as SQL1.text. Any extension that we put here doesn't matter. Or SQL, you can name it whatever you want. I'm saving it in my downloads. That's all we needed. Now interception off. We can even get rid of burp. All right. Now we just need to open up our terminal. Let's do a cat. It's the same as SQL1. All right. Wait a second. This is ugly. It should look like this. It should be a nice. What happened to this thing? Oh, it's still there. Oh. Let's do it again. So if you open a browser with interception on, we should get something like this. That's a clean request that we want to capture. So I don't know how I saved my initial request. So I'm going to do it again. Forward. Admin test or admin, doesn't matter. All right, so this is what it should be. So I should be able to right click. Did I do a copy to file? Let's see. All right, that's better. So it was a copy to file. All right, now that we did that, let's just fire up our SQL map. I think this one should do it. So I'll tell you what this is doing here. So we are looking for databases from this file here. So we're saying, hey, SQL map, we need to go through this request here, look for databases, and then the level and the risk. I forgot what those two do. I think it was level 5, then bash just says go through everything. Then the SQL map will take care of the rest. It will go through and look for databases. And as you can see, we saw database Clover, MySQL, and Sys. So now that we have a database, We just need to go to the next one. We can dump everything from that database. Actually, let's do that. My database is Clover. SQL1.text. So this will take a long time, of course, but for me, this is when I found out that it was a time-based blind injection when SQL was doing this. But of course, we are running a tool, so our intrusion detection will actually be interested. Risk allows type of payloads used. Awesome, thanks BT. So this will actually run in the background, and it's noisy, as you can imagine. So we can actually go and see a lot of noise in our intrusion detection as well. So we did find this user, and looks like we have a hash, and we also found another user in a hash. This one is Asta and whatever that one. First, let me try to see if I can identify what type of hash this is. Let's see, what can I use for identifying the hash? Oh, okay. I can use my hash identifier on this machine, or we can just go to here to hash analyzer. Let's pick this one. What kind of hash is this? Hash identifier on the terminal works, or hash analyzer works. It doesn't matter how you get to the answer, really. We have an MD5, so you can crack this MD5 on the terminal as well. Or I found this really nice tool for MD5. I'm just getting it from my cheat sheet. Crack Station won't crack this one, I don't think. Let's start with the first one. This site actually works really well. Don't let the look deceive you. It's actually really it works really well for MD5 hashes. So I put it in my cheat sheet for that. So we see that we have whatever this is. That doesn't look like a password. Or maybe it's a password. That was the password for this. Let's look at the Asta user. That looks more like a password, so we use that. I'm going to copy here. Alright, so what we did is first we found the hashes. We used hash analyzer to analyze the hash. We found that it's MD5. You go to Google, look up for MD5, how to crack MD5 hash. You can crack it on the terminal, or you can use this md5online.it. It's like the crack station for MD5 hashes. I'm a big fan. Alright, so now we found Asta. We also have one more hash. This one. You can tell SQL map to crack the hashes, but why we can just try out here. Oh, that's interesting. So this and this gives me the same whatever phrase this is. Then Asta gives me an actual password. So that's going to be the one I'm going to go for. This is for that site. Let me see if I can sign in. We'll also try to sign in to phpMyAdmin. Okay. Let me make sure that I'm getting the password correctly. Come on, work. No. Oh, look at this. This must also be vulnerable to SQL injection. Yeah, this phpMyAdmin is also vulnerable to SQL injection. Isn't that interesting? All right. We did find that there is port 22, which is open. So with every time I find credentials, I try every service that I have that I can get in. .52. It should ask you to accept the key here. But of course, I have already been in here. So it looks like there's credential reuse. Whatever that credential was is actually being used by this Asta user for SSH. I'm not sure why it didn't let me in here or here, because that's where it should have worked. But it works for SSH. So I'm not asking too many questions after that. I'm in here, so what I like to do is ls -la. I would usually check the bash history to see what they've ran before me. Local.txt looks interesting. So it's just a flag for the user Asta. So now that we're in here, awesome. So now that we're in here, let's see. Okay, I found this. Sudo -l. Can Asta run any? No. So I can either bring the tools to find privilege escalation, like enum for Linux or linenum. I always get them. Or I can bring linpeas. Linpeas will scan this machine for me and give me a nice report of any vulnerabilities. But I also try to do things manually, like finding out, okay, there's another user called Sword. Can I do anything in here? No, I can't, according to these permissions. Okay, so let's check for SUIDs quick. This is the easy wins that you can find if you can. You're looking for any files with SUID bits set. If there are, then we can try to exploit them for privilege escalation. They are the easiest things to find. This one is a capital X. Yeah, this was a rabbit hole. I didn't find anything there. And then XIM4, sometimes I've seen XIM4 allow us to get in, so I tested this one. This one doesn't work. You know what? Let's actually get linpeas there. I don't think I've actually done that before here. think I can do this. Really? Alright, so I'm just hosting my linpiece. It's linpiece.sh. I always like to put it in the temp file. 192.168. You can move files all kinds of ways. This is one way. I think that's what its names. Really? I can run. I cannot even run the wget here. Interesting. Can I run curl? No way. Okay. How hard can it be? Oh, we also have an FTP server, but I'm going to do this the easy way. I hope it's not too big. Whoa, that's okay. I apologize if you're feeling dizzy. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so we need to move our linpiece here and run it. But it looks like our user Asta here cannot do too much. You cannot even run curl. You cannot run wget. Of course, there is yeah, it's a really big file. So we can use netcat here if you wanted to, except we don't have one. Okay, I'm going to give up on the linpiece deal. Just wanted to show you that we can put an automated tool and it will do the work. But we can continue to look for files, for example, in the var directory. If you looked here, oh, I do see FTP here. You know what? I'm going to get my linpiece in here. Can I actually write in here? Or everybody can read. Root owns this place, so everybody can read, which is fine. But here's our FTP location if we wanted to. Let's get out of there. I did notice right away, I also have the cache, log, mail, run, temp, ww, but we have backups. Backups are always something you want to check anyway. You notice that we have a bunch of backups. I'm hoping they're backing up something interesting, a directory of configuration files. They have a gshadow file here. They have a password.back and a shadow.back. Okay, what can I read? What can I not read? So everything, but I can get in the reminder here. Oh, that's interesting. I do have a user called Sword. Oh yeah. I do have a user named Sword, and here is password for Sword. So, and I can read that file. In capture the flag format, we get a hint. Oh well, this is a reminder for Sword's password. Just a reminder for this. Who does this stuff? Nobody does this. Really, nobody does this. But hey, so we have a user named Sword, and we have a password that just needs some numbers here. We can generate a word list with random numbers here and see if we can crack this password, because this is just a matter of creating a word list with all possible combination of numbers here, and we have 4 digits. So that should be easy. So because of this, we need to create a password that we can use. Then we can brute force Sword on SSH. Let's do this. All right. Let's just generate a word list here, and I'll share with you a nice tool that you can use, and it's Crunch. I think it comes pre-installed on your Kali. -H, and here's some usage. It's the same, minimum, maximum, then the options. If this main page doesn't actually give you much, this hacking article actually does go in detail on how to use Crunch, and I'll show you a section that I'm actually following, that I used to follow here. Let's go here. Alright, so here's a comprehensive guide on Crunch, and we can use this tool to generate any word list that we want. If you say people have a word list where they say 5 characters, 2 numbers, Crunch will actually come in here and actually get things done for you. And for this one, I think I did a numeric, because I wanted to see where Crunch actually does that, and I found out it was a $. Let's see. Yeah, so if you follow this, I think you can use percentage for lowercase, that for numeric character, which is just when you want it to generate numeric numbers. So let's go and give Crunch a format to use for generating the password. Say Crunch, and for the usage, we need to find out how many characters is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I think. Yeah, so it's a 12 character password. So we come to Crunch, and I had it here. We want it to be 12 character password, so we do 12 minus T. This will we just have to put the first part of the password, which is this one. And since we want this to be numbers, this is where we put the 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. Then we can output this to pass.text. So Crunch will only fill out numbers here, all possible numbers that we can. And here is a huge list that Crunch will generate for us. He just generated this section because that's what's missing from our letter. So all we have to do is now use that word list, the pass1.text, brute force SSH using Hydra. And I have a cheat sheet for my, was it here? Where did I put my Hydra? And we're going for SSH. I think I have a cheat sheet from Red Team here that I'm using. Or you can use this one. I have a couple that I can just use to figure out how Hydra is doing the brute forcing. Awesome. So we can now say Hydra. I'll just show you. And -L. I'll use a sword. That's we have a user. We need a capital P. I'll do a pass.text. It's the same word list. My pass.text is kind of rigged because the password takes about 20 minutes to crack. So I rigged the file. I put the letter on the top so we don't have to wait here. And then we're using SSH. And we can actually do some threads here with Hydra. Let me put 30 maybe. And -F and C. This will make things a little faster. Okay. Syntax. So I have -P. Let's see. Wait a second. Let's read what it's saying. Oh, I didn't put my IP address. And I'm like, why is this not working? Of course, we need to know what we are attacking, right? 38.52. There we go. Yeah, or you can do SSH : the IP, just like that. If this was a different port, would have specified. Sometimes people would run SSH on a different port. So we're brute forcing for our password here. Let's see if it works. But of course, this is very noisy, so I'm hoping to see this in action actually. Let me see. Does Suricata pick it up in here? This is to destination port 80 though. Oh, this is probably, this is in Splunk. I don't have my fields pulled up yet. I was hoping to just search for them, but I don't see put. Oh, this is just the Code Fusion stuff from earlier when we were accessing the Code Fusion site. Apparently there's a ton of it. All right, let's go back here. First, let's check the alerts. They should be changing right now. Here's a bunch of code fusion stuff. Since we're brute forcing port 22, I like to go here and look at the actual events. Let's go to the discover. Let's do a search here. Source IP, I'm just going to reuse this. My source IP is going to be my Kali 38.10. Destination IP, destination port is going to be 22, because that's the one we're brute forcing. Destination IP is going to be 32.52. I should see some traffic here. Alright, so this is us. We can't, yeah, this is definitely us brute forcing. How many? About 80. Let's take a look at this, one of these. This is just a Zik. Let's see if I can find the Suricata event. So I'm not looking at alerts, I'm just looking at raw data. So as you can see, most of this is just from bro connections. So if you are asked to look for the data of the attack, there's no way we signed in manually 22 times, of course. So this is all the instances, probably from brute force. If I keep refreshing this is 379. Does that go up? If Elasticsearch can index things faster in the background, of course. 467. If I refresh this again in a little bit, this number should keep going up. And here we go. We do have Suricata. Let's see what Suricata is saying. Likely brute force attack. So there is a hiding that we're doing here as we brute force things. Suricata does catch us red-handed there. And here is a rule that actually fired. If you wanted to see what kind of rule is detecting the brute force. So here's a Suricata brute force attack for SSH. Let's go back and see if it succeeded. I just wanted to track that one down. See if it will actually work. Yeah, last time I did this, it took a while. Let's do a head. So you can see the format. This is how it generates the passwords starting from 1. Let's do a pass 1. Yeah, so this will take a while. Just to give you an idea, what was the password for this thing? We might actually have to wait because I didn't save it when it ran last time. Let's let it run. All right, let's look at the other traffic because we are almost done with the whole machine anyway. So this is the brute force traffic that we can see right here. But if we just wanted to see the traffic for the whole transactions, just source and destination IP, now that we know who is attacking and who is being attacked, we should be able to just do this. From Kali to our victim machine, how much traffic did we generate? And you can see when things were happening. 80,000 events were generated during this window here. So there is a lot of things happening between Zik and that. That is a lot of events. If we want to find, maybe did Hydra set up a user agent? Let me see if I can find Hydra traffic here. Oh, I see SSH.server, which is interesting. I'm just looking at the events and the fields that we have to see what we actually have. Let's look at everything. Interesting. So these extracted fields here kind of gives me an idea of what kind of data I have in here and that I'm working with. If I'm feeling like not digging through the data manually like this, then you just go and rely on the actual alerts that Suricata gives you, and you should be able to see which ones are the top ones easily. So that's what we will do here. So from our Kali Linux, we have this many events, 2,647,970 to this destination, which is our victim machine. This is what we are attacking. So of course, this is every connection and every, everything. If we wanted just alerts, we can then just use this one here. Let's check our CodeFusion administrator stuff, drill down. Because it looks like CodeFusion is a well-known application that they like to do. So based on the number of these things here, this shows me pretty much that this is our brute force. I already know. It's too many requests to one port. Yeah, this is our, was it a, yeah, this was our brute force for sure. No, with SQL map probably. Here's the rule that fired. So it looks like if you access whatever this is, which is a non-CodeFusion directory, it does fire the rule. So it's a known alert that is set on the Adobe CodeFusion site. Right, let's go back and see if this is actually going to find our password. If it takes forever, I just tell you that it took me 20 minutes last time. So I might need to find my earlier password. Let's try it. Yeah, it's the same. All right, there it is. Let me stop this one. So with Hydra, you're able to brute force word, and here's the password. So now we can SSH as word, or we can switch user to that user, and we're in. We can find Sword's bash history, which I would like us to do to find. We can say cat locale.text. Here's the second flag for sword. Let's do it again. Let's find sudo -l. See if sword can run any commands as sudo. Nope. Next, this is if you have been here for a while, you know that this is what I do. If SUIDs don't work, I mean, if someone has no sudo, I look for SUIDs before bringing any other tools. Alright, so this one did find a script, which is interesting, right? daemon.sh with SUIDs set. So if you see a script, that's always an interesting thing. Can we do anything with this? And look at that. We run it. And guess what it's running? It's running Lua. Lua, I've seen it in another CTF. There's a GTO4 beans for Lua. And I'll show you GTO4 beans. This is like the Bible for SUIDs. First, if I didn't know that it's running Lua, which now I know, I would have searched for daemon. I'd have gone and tried to read it, which is, as you can see, I cannot. Then the second is I'll run it, and I found that it's running Lua. So I'll search for this just in case it's a known thing within GTA4 Beans world. This one looks like a custom script, so it's actually not going to be here. However, it's running this here, and we want it in let's just look for everything for Lua. So if you have a Lua application, you can pass the -e flag and execute it. So I'm just going to say Lua stands for whatever Lua application, pass -e, and we should be able to get there. So I'm going to copy that. I think Control C will get. So I'll run the Lua application, pass -e. This will execute. I don't want. Give me bin bash. There. Where am I? Really? Okay. Why am I getting a pound? Okay, whatever is happening here. So now I'm root, so it looks like it's very specific. You cannot do what I tried to do here to give it as a bin bash. It likes to be bin sh. So now we are root, and that's how you do privilege escalation when you find an application that's running in Lua. Simple way to do it. And here's our proof. We did it. So as you can see, this is actually really fun as you go through these machines. It's a lot of time, of course, to get them complete, but once you do, it's really fun. It's fun stuff. Thank you. It's really fun stuff. Then all of a sudden, now you can come back in here and say, really, I need to find out, what did I do? Who was making the most noise? Of course, we did run some scripts here out of the box, so we're going to see default stuff in the alerts section here. Surikara picked 330. This is probably most likely a brute force. This is an nmap brute force, a bunch of nmap here. Interesting stuff. See, okay, here's an attempted MySQL. I'm trying to track down SQL map. Was this one the one? Let's see. Oh, remember when I typed in admin and test? This is the one. Yeah, Lua is really interesting. So yeah, this is the one when I typed in admin and test. This is from my initial request, and this is what it was sending to my site, which is interesting. And here's the rule that they set up. What are they looking for? Every time I see this, I'm always looking at the rule. Okay, how did they design the rule? What are they looking for in the flow when they see this traffic on the network? Which is always interesting stuff. And this was a quote by Surikara. And we should be able to see the same data in here. Change this to the last 1 hour. Alright, because we have too many events here. What is this dotted zip stuff? Let's find out, because I saw it right here as well. It was like the main 300,000 events. Instead of there. Yeah, there we go. Kali to a victim machine on port 80. What are they talking about with that dotted zip alert? Oh, look. So that's GoBuster. But GoBuster does set a user agent to GoBuster. Which is very interesting. And you can see it in plain text. Usually this is if they're attacking and you're actually sniffing traffic directly. So that's why I had all that. It changed because I was actually looking for specific extensions. As you can see, this was when I was going for zip. Sometimes we don't look for these extensions, and that's why it doesn't show this way. But this dotted zip request is when I was brute forcing for zipped files. Alright guys, I think this is fun. Let me know if you want me to look for something specific here. I'm just messing around with the traffic because it's with the data, because I think this is where the money is at. A lot of people do enjoy the attacking phase, but I think if we can generate our own traffic and try to make sense of it, that's more fun. Last hour. I want to look at one more alert here. So now that I know what this dotted zip is, I can move on to another one. This just, it says a brute force attack. The administrator access is for the admin page. This, I'm pretty sure this is nmap. Let's find out. So this is the message: ET scan, likely brute force, port 22. Is it Hydra or nmap? I was hoping for network.decoded. All I see is this SSH. Let's look at the message. Between nmap and Hydra, they tend to do things like this. One of the two. Alright, but what they're looking for is this in the data. Which is really interesting. Alright guys, I think we succeeded in doing what we wanted here today. This was a fun machine. Next time we come back, I'd like to do these machines here. Prime 2012-2. Drifting Blues 9, which is a really good series. I've done 1 to 7, I think. I haven't seen 8. Then Admin X. These ones are going to be my next ones this week. Make sure that we can get those ones done. So thank you very much for being here, and thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate everybody who is here. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week, and have a good one.